All right, let's kick it off. Let's talk about this inflation. So, Team Biden right now has got a little pep in its step after a pretty terrible few weeks for the Biden administration, dealing with all host of problems, and some of them self-inflicted, by the way. Now it turns out Team Biden is going on the offensive. President Biden is going to speak tomorrow about inflation and the economy before taking off, heading to Nantucket for vacation. We could get an announcement just in a few minutes here, or maybe early this morning on the Fed choice. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first on inflation. So the president is going on the offensive because, and I think this is really fascinating, that there's been this move now from the White House basically saying, all of these prices that you're seeing, all of these high prices, this is as a result of monopolistic practices by the meat industry, by big corporations, that they are colluding with one another, running up prices, that these are not organic price increases. And I think this is a really smart strategy I'm going to say this, I think this is a really smart strategy from the Biden administration to say, hey, all these inflated prices you're suddenly seeing here, this is not organic. This isn't just happening because of the pandemic. This is actually happening because these big businesses and corporations are getting together and they're raising prices and blaming it on the pandemic. And yes. I think they have something there, and actually they have quite a bit of evidence to support this, by the way.
And just like they blame raising the gas prices on the pipeline hack. And we were told the prices will go back down once this is all figured out, but it never did. It's continually going up.
Yeah, and now we're seeing $6 gas prices. $6. You think that this is odd? Look at this. This is California.
Absolutely not. But then just this morning, oil prices are down. So how does this? You make a good point here, right? If oil prices are down, why is that savings not being passed on to consumers? Consumer prices have not fallen at all. Now, experts are saying oil prices are down because COVID continues to rage in Europe, and that continues some kind of uncertainty in the supply chain. Plus, there's an oversupply in Japanese oil reserves. So there is no such law as supply and demand anymore, right? There are only goods, services, consumer prices, and then some perversion that exists based on corporate profit.
It's interesting in this piece this morning from the White House. The White House took a step in this direction earlier this week, and maybe that's why the Biden administration is seeing this as an opportunity to maybe increase their approval ratings. But I think that, the cynic in me says, oh, this is like a smart move here for them, right? Because anytime we want to target big business and say that it's big business's fault, that's going to be a winner for the American people. But I think they're actually right on this, and there's plenty of evidence to support this. And in this piece, the White House took a step in this direction earlier this week, with Biden urging the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, to start investigating anti-competitive behavior in the oil and gas industry, which the president alleged was leading to higher prices for drivers at the pump. Administration officials have discussed launching similar measures, with aides calling attention to the grocery sector as food prices rise. So, and specifically targeting the beef sector. Mm-hmm. Like, why are these meat prices, which there's no reason why these things should be, there should be this overwhelming demand and these surging prices?
Well, meat producers have said that is specifically due to increased gas prices because they have to actually ship livestock around and butchered meat to the stores, right? And also the feed has become more expensive. The price of the feed that they give the livestock has doubled.
Are we buying that?
I don't know. I don't have any evidence to the contrary.
The White House is saying, and if we believe what the White House is saying, that these gas prices are artificially inflated right now.
Listen, this is how it went down. So Buttigieg comes out and says, we're going to try to pay for all this stuff that we're doing with the gas tax.
See,
they got
transportation,
a lot of pushback on it.
Yeah, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg,
right.
Yeah.
They come out, they say they're going to try to pay for it with a gas tax on us. People buck against it. They don't like it. Then all of a sudden there's a hack of the pipeline. Then all of a sudden gas prices go up and they say they're going to go back down. And in my mind, I'm thinking they got their gas tax with being able to blame it on something else, basically blame it on Russia. And so now we've got higher gas prices because of Russia. It just seems too coincidental that that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do they get to now blame it on them as the scapegoat bad guy? You know, it's funny though, you get to blame it on them, but at the same time, the Biden administration is also opening up additional drilling in the Gulf of Mexico and allowing them to do additional oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico 4 days after they get back from the COP26 conference. So, you know, something is not smelling right. But as an anonymous White House source this morning says, who spoke on the condition of anonymity, says the administration has been focused since the beginning on antitrust measures from housing to agriculture. So this has been part of their agenda before they were even in office, aimed at reducing consumer costs. Senior White House officials published an analysis back in September on the role of concentration in the meatpacking industry on higher prices. So you can go and read that analysis back in September, before we were seeing this rampant explosion in prices here as we head into the holidays. So,
well, if you look at this inflationary chart about the Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Yeah.
It does seem to support that most of the things that have increased in price are meat products. Look at the price of the turkey, right? Almost $5 more than it was just last year. The price of the ham, a full $1.71 more than it was last year. The other things, the vegetables, it's not, not
cranberries
so
up 29 cents. By the way, I can't stand cranberries.
Nobody likes cranberries. It's just in there.
I don't know. There's always like out of 10 people, there's one person that likes cranberries.
Yes, yeah. And we don't have them.
They're like,
where
should we get
live,
cranberries for Mildred? So Aunt Mildred's coming. I know Aunt Mildred likes cranberries. Aunt Janice is coming. Let's get
I asked,
cranberries.
my mom is the only one who likes them. And I was like, can you just put some jelly on the side? Like, is that the same? Or just, I mean, really, it's an acidic side dish to cut the like heaviness of the dinner. So maybe I can just cut her some lime wedges and the same thing.
Rolls are not up much. I mean, but yeah, mostly it's the meat. It's the meat costs. And
Yes.
so you have to wonder, is the Biden administration onto this? I mean, they're saying that they're literally calling out what the White House is working on to say that this is not happening. Are they going to win this argument, though, with the American people? That's the issue, right? So the Americans get around their Thanksgiving table and they're going to be like, that Biden's responsible for my turkey being increased, when in actuality might not have anything to do with him at all. In fact, it can be collusion between these big businesses quietly saying, hey, let's, under the guise of a pandemic right now, let's increase our prices 10% 10 cents per pound. Shh, no one knows.
And these are the people
That
that
and
knowingly-
shrinkflation, which we see where you're getting the same priced product, but there is less inside of it. If you pull back up that chart, though, most stuffing also has meat in it. So I take issue with that price, only 52% more because
52 cents.
or 52 cents more.
Actually, that's down. Stuffing
down
is down, negative. It's
because
negative
of bread
52.
prices. And I mean, the ingredients of stuffing usually has meat. So that's BS. I also call BS on the pumpkin pie because there's dairy in that, which is also increased. The price of milk is no longer 99 cents a gallon or whatever CNN tells you it is. So I don't know about all this. Also, most people buy wine and beer and other cocktails, and the price of those things are also up. I dare you to try and do a Thanksgiving dinner for $65. I just don't see it. Every time these prices are published, I'm like, how? That's not possible.
Well,
I don't know who can do that.
David,
Sorry,
you were
David.
gonna- you were
I
gonna say
interrupted you
something.
because
No.
I got upset about stuff.
No, that's totally fine. So I was saying, like, these are the same people that are doing this stuff that knowingly created a food pyramid that was bad for you initially. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
it's the meat
yes.
industry, like they lobby Congress and get all these perks and everything. So it's like they can pretty much do whatever they want and they're going to get away with it. And chances are we're probably subsidizing them right now too.
Oh, of course. And this is the thing that a lot of economists are skeptical. Like, are you going to, as Biden, going to be publicly cajoling these companies? Is that going to actually let them, lead them to lower their prices across the board? By calling out Walmart, by calling out FedEx, by calling out Target over their supply chain stuff, by calling out Tyson Foods. Mm-hmm. Is that going to do anything? Are they going to lower their prices?
Absolutely not. But then
Or is it
what's
just-
the alternative? Is some kind of government intervention of inflationary practices?
Perhaps, and it's what they have in some other countries, by the way.
They
Get Fidel
do.
Castro on the phone.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they have this in other countries where you're not allowed during this. I mean, why in other countries aren't we hearing about this, by the way? Why in other countries aren't we seeing these artificial price raises? I'm just curious. I'm just saying,
I
it's
don't
me
know,
to be
but
skeptical.
I think Fox News will blow up if you start to say like more government intervention of prices, right? That's not. So you're hard pressed to get any kind of agreement on that.
Who gets screwed, right? So consumers are out there spending, but it's consumers who have money. And there's just millions of Americans who don't have money. They're paying more for rent. They're paying more for food to put on their table. They're paying more for gas prices. And it's those people that get screwed time and time again. So I'm fine if Fox News, if they explode over my thoughts on this, that's fine. That's absolutely fine about it. I think it's fine to actually have this idea that, we should be paying, we shouldn't be artificially paying more for things. And Grover agrees with that.
He does.
Grover totally agrees with me, and it's about time.
Okay.
Thank you, Grover.
The chat room's having a good debate over whether or not there should be meat in your stuffing, or as some people regionally call it, dressing. And
what do you guys think?
I don't think I've ever had meat in my stuffing.
Really?
I had never had meat in my stuffing until I met Bumblebee over here. And
it's supposed to be made with the giblets or the giblets, however you say
Giblets?
that, as someone in the chat rightly points out. But I do not use the giblets other than in the stock. And so, I just put like some of the, what?
Crystal says her dogs are barking at Grover. Yeah. Sorry about that. Grover heard the door
Brian
ring.
Cody, I put sausage. I take one of those like Jimmy Dean's and squeeze that out, and just to sort of simulate the giblets that I am not using. But
Well, you're not getting any Jimmy Dean this year because we're in Europe and they don't have processed. You won't get access to the
I have to-
processed.
They have like the best pork over there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Portugal has the best pork in the world. Yeah. So the Spanish pork producers will actually bring their pigs over to Portugal to let them feast on all the acorns. And they actually lease the land for that purpose. So, Portugal has the best pork in the world, actually.
One thing I'm absolutely against is raisins or cranberry or anything fruit-like in the stuffing. Please don't do that. And if you do, we're going to have a fight over it. I don't like that. Who likes that? Anybody here?
No.
No.
Can I ask a quick question before we move on?
Yes.
How come we call cow beef, we call pig pork, but we call chicken and turkey? Like what? Why is that? We don't say, hey, we're going to eat some cow tonight.
I don't know.
Well, maybe back in the day they used to say, we're going to eat fowl, right? So maybe it's like a recent change where we just now call chicken.
And why is chicken singular no matter how many chickens you cook? I read this in a book recently. When you can have like 8 chickens that you
Or poultry,
prepare,
Poultry.
but
Who
you
says that?
still
We're gonna have
say
poultry
we're
tonight.
going to eat chicken. You never say we're going to eat chickens. It's only
Right.
plural in the livestock.
Yeah, you're right about that. I never say like poultry. Oh, we found something. Joyce says she likes raisins, but not in
But
stuffing.
not in stuffing.
Yeah,
Not in
no,
the stuffing.
Not Joyce. Sorry, I got the wrong person there. Oh, Joyce says, I like raisins in my stuffing. Ooh, no. Lamb is lamb, Jim Jackson points out.
Or veal. I say veal or mutton.
These are too tight.
Mutton? I don't even know what mutton is.
That's lamb.
Is it?
What are you doing?
My
Yoga?
No, my shoelaces are too tight and it's hurting my feet. So I have to loosen the laces.
Why are you wearing shoes during
Laces
the show?
out.
Laces out. Tiny footballs.
They're little footballs.